It starts with an M, rhymes with polyester.
I thought you were gonna say like mustard. I was like expecting you to just like do that. Right? Polyester.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, Peach.
All right. What podcast was I watching? Oh yeah, Hey Sister.
I thought you were gonna say what podcast are we called or something.
I was watching a Hey Sister podcast, and I didn't realize at the end they put like kind of outtakes. So it was like all these like attempts at starting and like restarting, and I was like killing myself laughing because I was like, that is what it's like. That takes forever.
Mm-hmm. The beginning is the worst. Yeah.
Yeah.
The hardest. Yeah.
Okay. My nose is really itchy. Now I'm like, what podcast are we? Okay.
Yeah, we changed our name to that. Welcome.
Welcome to. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to On the Lamb podcast. I'm Tamu.
I'm NalediS.
And we are sisters in Ontario, Canada, talking about yarning and designing and whatever else pops into our heads at the moment. And technical difficulties, because seem to be having a lot of glitchy Wednesdays, so bear with us that it might get a little choppy or freezy, or we might have some extra edits to do, depending on how things go.
True.
So, hope everyone's doing well. I've had a good couple of weeks. I feel like the last couple of weeks have been crazy, but I don't really know why. I feel like a lot happened. I feel like it's been more than 2 weeks. Like lots of things have happened, but I don't really know exactly what. I don't know.
Lots of things have happened, but you don't know what?
Yeah, I don't know what happened that made it feel like so many things happened, if that makes sense.
I'm assuming part of it was like our impromptu visit to you guys.
Well, that threw me off because you guys were here on weekdays when normally you're here on weekends. So then I was like, wait, what day is it? Maybe that's what made it feel like more weeks. Because you guys were here like...
Because it like threw in an extra weekend. It's like we had 3 weekends last. It wasn't. It was a Tuesday to Thursday, but...
Yeah.
I could see what you mean. Also, I feel for me, it just like it is the summer energy.
Yeah.
We're always so much busier in the summer. And then it's always like by the end of the summer, I'm like, and I already feel like this. I'm starting to feel like this now. I'm just exhausted because we can't stop finding things to do outside of our like leaving our property to go and like do activities and stuff. And then not giving ourselves as many days in between to slow down and just chill around the house.
Yeah.
So
it's just my schedule's been like so weird because the boys being like on camp 1 week and then off 1 week, and it's like the weeks that they're off feel like weeks and weeks and weeks. They feel so long, and not necessarily in a bad way. Like there's been like moments where it's been hard, but it's like you said, like you're just doing a lot of things. Whereas like when they're in school, there's days and days and days where I feel like I did the same thing every day for like so many days in a row. It's just like take them to school, come home, sit in front of the computer and work, knit for a little bit, go back and pick them up, dinner, bedtime. And then the same thing the next day. And then whereas like this week, it's like 1 week is like that. And then next week's like all over the place. And it was like, I don't know what's going on. What is happening to the world? I also like, this sounds really, really lame, but I also sometimes feel like lots of patterns being released or like lots of things happening on other people's Instagram feeds also like makes me feel like lots is going on, even though it's not my things. I feel like the last little while, it's like so many patterns have been released. So many people have been like putting out like cool yarn and like just doing things that I feel like even it sounds so lame. But like looking at all these feeds and having like all these like notifications pop up. It's like exhausting sometimes, and I'm like, there's just too much to look at. Too many
because
things,
your
like,
brain does
absorb
take
it.
it all in, and you do process it. So I can appreciate that it is like
Well, and there's like,
stimulation, like
and it's not like at other times there's actually less on my feed, but it's just like maybe it's like that there's been a lot of like patterns coming out that are like things I actually would love to knit. So it's like I'm thinking about like all these projects that I am working on and have to finish, and designs that I want to do, and like yarns that I have that I really want to find a project for, and then like a new pattern comes out, and then I start like my brain actually like spends time in the background through the day while I'm doing other things going like, what yarn do I have that I could knit with it? Well, if I use this and this, and then maybe I just have to get one more skein, and like, oh yeah, like, so I can't think of her name, but Boyland Knits just came out with like a new top pattern.
Oh, yes.
That's like use two of like the main color, and then you stripe together. I didn't realize like the colored sections are actually like striped together, two contrasting colors. But I think I would just do it like one main color and one contrast color rather than striping it. Anyways, I have spent
butter all the time.
Caitlin, is that I don't know. Sometimes it's like people's brand name and people's real names. It's like two different people in my head. So then I have trouble, like, for a second I was like, is that Andy Satterlund? But I'm like, no, that's a different person. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I really want to knit that top. And so I've spent a lot of time in my head trying to figure out what yarn I have that I could use, because I'm really trying to like knit more from stash, because I have a lot of yarn that I still really love.
So it's a new top. I want to see it.
Yeah, I think I sent it to you on Instagram, or I tagged you. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't fall in love with it. Maybe it's the colors for me though.
But like, I'm just picturing like, one, it's like nice because it's not like a ton of yarn, because she's like a lot of colorwork patterns, and like I would need a lot of yarn to make them happen. I don't have that kind of stash. I feel like there's weird background feedback going on right now.
Yeah, look at that tattoo on her arm.
What?
That tattoo on her arm.
Mm-hmm.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, what it's of?
Looks like a play fort kind of thing, like raised play fort with mountains behind it. I don't know what it's supposed to be of, like in her life, but anyway, go ahead.
Well, one, are you getting weird sound feedback?
Just slightly, not a lot.
I feel like it's going in waves. Sometimes it's fine, but if I talk for too long, I can hear it like. So sorry guys, if you can hear that now.
Sometimes it just like naturally clears itself up. I've noticed that on my end. Anyways.
Yeah. Sometimes I find it distracting because sometimes I can't tell if it's like something in your background. Like, every once in a while I can like hear the kids or something. So I'm like, I can't tell where that's coming from. Anyways, so I'm just like, I spend a lot of time thinking about what yarns could I use for that. And plus I feel like I've been spending a lot of time knitting because I had several test knits that I've been just trying to get to the end of, so I can clear them off my plate and move on to the next ones.
All right, so
okay,
what are you wearing?
I have to go and find it again, Starlight and Diamonds Shawl by Melissa Metzbauer. And I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She's that Metzbauer girl on Instagram. And the yarn is the Lucky Charms colorway by Chubbs and Squeak. And I think I found her through Instagram ages ago. Anyways, so it's like I test knit this one. I think you start at the small point and work like to the wide end. It's a lacy pattern. It was funny because when I agreed to test it, I was like, well, it's not like a huge shawl, so it should be okay. But I hadn't knit like a truly large lace project in a long time. When I test this, oh my goodness, I had such a hard time with it because I've been so used to not really having to pay that close attention to projects for a long time. And so it was like, every time I thought, oh, okay, I just know the pattern repeat, I would like mess up really bad. And like, because of the way the lace pattern is, I think it was like 24 rows, but really it was like a 12-row repeat and then a 12, it would shift over. But oh my gosh, it would be like really obvious issues that I would have to try and frog back, and picking up lace when you don't put in a lifeline is like terrible. So there was a point in the middle of the project where I almost gave up, and I was like, nope, you can finish this. It's fine. Like, don't panic. Just leave the lifeline in. Anyways, I think it's cute. It's good for summer. I was looking for something else. And I'm annoyed because I can't find my Studio Slub tee anywhere. I don't know where I put it. Anyways, I was looking for something else to wear, and then I saw this like poking out of the bottom of a bag, and I was like, oh yeah, this would be a good one for
You know what my motto is, and I use it with the kids, and I think they're starting to catch on to it. It's like a real motto, but I think it's like a life lesson for them too.
Mhm.
If when you can't find something, you start cleaning up, and then you'll always find it. So if you make it through to the bottom of Laundry Mountain, you might find the Studio Slub. It works every time, though.
Instead, you just knock over the piles until the thing appears, and then you stop. That also works 90% of the time.
Oh, that's funny.
And if it doesn't work, it's because I wasn't meant to find that thing today.
That's what you believe? It's a message from the universe to
well,
us.
there are legit times where I'm like looking for something, because it's like most of the time when I go on like a true hunt for something, it's like it'll be either because I actually need it, which is like sometimes obviously, but there are times where I'm like, I'll go looking for something to avoid doing something else. And it's like, I should sit down and work, but I'm like, no, I need to go find da-da-da-da. And it's like, I will never find it when I'm looking for it as a way to procrastinate doing something else. And if I go and finish that other thing, then the thing that I was looking for will be sitting right on top. Like someone puts it back, like, here you go, you can have this now that you're done what you were supposed to be doing. Yeah. So sometimes it's not ready to be found. Anyways, what are you wearing?
I was just about to say, I wonder if I should do it Temu normally does and be like, so what I'm wearing is this is the Moving Forward cowl. Thank you for asking. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The Moving Forward cowl. I gotta make a project page for this now because I'm gonna forget what size needles I used. I used so this is Temu's design. I think I ended up cutting out what we talked about last week because I had to keep it down, our time down. So I was gonna make it like a continuation of what I was talking about last week, but you guys didn't get to see that part. I cast it on, and with this like yarn from Tanis Fiber Arts, it's merino cashmere silk, just like a much drapier fabric than when Temu did her initial Moving Forward cowl. So it was too drapey for my liking, so I ended up accidentally actually making it less stitches that I cast on with and went down several needle sizes. Anyway, so I'm happy it's done. And it's on me. I just need to obviously weave in the ends, but I've decided that once I finish this other test knit, I'm going to have a finishing party because I've got a lot of things to seam and weave in ends on. Yeah, so Temu's new design, and it's intended to be a charity knit. Yes, so I can't remember what the name of the organization is now that you're going to donate the proceeds to, but I'm going to let you pick up from this place now.
I don't know.
Oh, Compassion Collective? The Compassion Collective?
That sounds right. I was like, something collective.
I had 4 weeks ago when we podcasted, I plugged the wrong website. They will also, it's like the same sort of people working together, some of the same people, and they will also be donating the other website that I plugged before. They will also be donating to organizations that support children and families that of, I think, natural disasters, maybe something like that. But the one that Temu wants to donate the proceeds of this pattern to is specifically related to the families being separated from, or the children being separated from families in the U.S. regarding, I don't know what to say exactly. I don't know how to say it like in a nice political way. That's what I'm trying to do.
I don't think there is a nice political way to put it at this point, but the
Mexican families that are being
immigrants that were being deported and separated and
right. Yeah,
that whole thing.
Right. So I made the small version. Temu has a larger version that she's also, you're done that now, right?
Yeah, did I show that before? Did I show it?
Remember you showed it last week. Well, you were like halfway through it. You showed it last week, but I clipped all that last week.
Oh, I couldn't. That's the hard thing about this 2-week schedule is I can't remember what I've like shown already. Again, I need to make notes. I can't remember what I've shown, so I was thinking I had already showed it finished. I'll go grab it in a second.
You definitely didn't show it finished. You were just part way through it.
Okay, hold on a second.
Anyways, yeah, go grab it because Tammy's made a version that can be doubled over. Pause.
Okay, so this is the large version, obviously, and Sweden. So what I did was I used 2 skeins of Lolo Did It. One skein is a one-of-a-kind colorway that's called Sky. So it was just kind of like a kind of a minty, maybe a little bit on the seafoam side color, and then Vertigo, which had a very similar background color, a little bit more minty, and then obviously the purple speckles, which I actually love how they striped together because I can't imagine if it was all Vertigo, it would be way more speckled, and I don't think I really, in the skein form, I don't think I realized Vertigo was quite as speckled as it is. So this is Vertigo striped together with something that's not speckled at all, and how that's like spaced out those speckles. Anyways, so the pattern repeats on both sides. There's like the first side, and then that's kind of like the front, and then the pattern on the other side. So you can wear it as just like one big towel. Color's like blowing out like crazy. So you can wear it as one big towel. You can pull it down over your shoulders a little bit more. So it's almost like, you know, kind of shawl-like. You can pin it in the front if you wanted. Have a little more shoulder coverage, but you can also, it's long enough, mine is anyways, that you could double it over and arrange it however you want. I think at one point I kind of doubled it over and then I pulled up the front layer so you still have that forward pointing arrow showing on one side. So it kind of looks like the smaller cowl, but you get a lot more warmth with that double layer.
Yeah, I like that.
I like it. I like this.
I almost would want to like frog this out and join it with another yarn to make a double.
Can if you want to.
Yeah. I like this. I feel like if I was going to do a small one, I just want it to be more like sturdy.
Yeah.
Just this yarn, which is really lovely around my neck. It feels delicious, but it's so drapey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, so
A little warm in here for this, but
I'm hoping that I have to settle myself into like a new routine of how to get different things done in my life right now.
yeah.
I just don't seem to be able to make the same time I was before to like do the the typing part of like the patterns and getting patterns out. But I think I'm going to hold space for it Wednesday mornings, the Wednesday mornings that we're not podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really hoping to get this and the scrunchies cowl out there.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday.
Okay.
And even if you like my part done anyway, and you can always stagger their releases or something, but I'm hoping if I've said this on the podcast, I'm committing myself.
You're committed.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is not seasonally appropriate right now at all, but
yeah, I bet.
But I really enjoyed knitting it.
I remember at the halfway point last time, or like 2 weeks ago when you were talking about it, you were in a stuck kind of place with it, but you got over that hump.
Yeah, I think I was mostly just stuck with it because that's the hard part is like sometimes like with the first version, I just knitted. I didn't write any notes or anything. So it was really enjoyable to knit. And this one I was trying to figure out how to write the pattern while trying to work the pattern. And like doing the double is different than doing the single. And I was just trying to get the instructions for the single down so that I could like use that as a jumping off for the second one. And I was just making my life difficult basically. But it wasn't the pattern at all. It wasn't this piece either. It was just the trying to design and thing at the same time and knit at the same time. Yeah, that's that.
Okay.
Okay.
Any FOs? Oh, well, this is my FO, and that's your FO probably.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh, yes. Sorry. One thing. Well, it's like almost my test knit for Amba that I'm sad about a little bit.
Sad that it's done?
No. Can you see? I don't know if it's blown out too much. The orange bled onto the gray. I'm so sad. Because remember I said like there were lighter parts of the blank that like look really pale, and then they're like brighter parts of the blank. But now the parts where the blank is bright look even brighter because the gray that was toning the color down is now neon yellow in certain spots. So it's like the bright spots, like when you see it in better light, the bright spots are really bright and the pale spots are like seem extra pastel in comparison. Whereas like when the gray was all gray, it just kind of like toned it all evenly.
Right.
And so I know it's not that bad. Like there are definitely worse bleeding situations, but I'm just like, I'm bummed.
Yeah.
I didn't want that to happen. So
yeah.
Overall, I'm happy with it in that I think once it's on, it won't be so noticeable. I haven't really put it on yet because it came out of the water and I could tell as soon as I came out of the water, I could tell right away that I was just like, but it's cute.
It is cute.
It's a nice weight too. Like when I was knitting it, I thought, oh, this fabric seems a little bit dense, but once it blocked, and I feel like mine didn't block out as much as some of the other testers that I've seen, but I also don't know if they just kept knitting theirs a bit bigger, because mine definitely, it's longer than what the pattern called for. I don't know, my row gauge must have been a little bit off, but the depth here is the same as what she said, or at least it was when I was trying to block it. And then I just need to finish it with, well, I probably won't really weave in the ends, but it's supposed to have, there's two different ways to finish it. So it's either tassels on the points or a fringe all the way. So I'm just going to do tassels on the end of here. So I might not weave in the ends. I'll just make it part of the tassels or use it to tie on the tassel here, which I think will be really cute.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to make it again, but like maybe in DK.
Why, what's that weight? Fingering?
Fingering, yeah. So the yarns again, the light gray is Street Style, I think, by Punk Rock Unicorn or Tattooed Knitters on Instagram. So it was like a very pale gray with just like the littlest teeny speckles of bright colors in it. And then the background color that's like various neon oranges and pinks was soft blank colorway by Stranded Dye Works. And I like them together. I don't know. If somebody has a tip for how to get that bled color out of the other color, let me know. The only tip that I know is when you're blocking, if you think it's going to bleed, put a color catcher that you put in your wash, put that in your blocking water, and it'll like absorb up the extra dye.
What would a color catcher be? Vinegar?
No, it's like a piece of, it looks like a dryer sheet. But I guess I don't know. I've never actually bought them before, but I guess when you're like washing clothes, if you say for some reason had to mix, like, well, you know, like it says wash light colors together. Well, if you have a black and white striped shirt, what do you wash it with, darks or lights?
Yeah.
Either way, the white might get some color on it. So you can put this sheet in your washer called a color catcher, and somehow it like attracts the dye to it so that it hopefully won't land on the fabrics. But I think it's too late for that now. I think that,
yeah.
And because it's like acid dye, it would like affix to the other color, you know? Anyway. I may try to reblock it and just see if I give it like a very light hand wash with a little bit of soap, if some of the color might come back out, but I kind of think it just is what it is now. Anyways, yeah, I think that's my only other FO. I forgot. I was like, I could have worn this. It's light enough. We'll keep it on. I feel like it's not that noticeable once it's on, but if you look really close, you can see.
Just the, what do you want to call it? I was going to say the legs, but like the tapered part. Yeah. That looked a bit brighter, but
yeah. From
this spot, it doesn't look bad. It just, you can see it's brighter. Yeah.
The gray is like really pink there.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the lesson that I learned was, but It's just like,
I'll
it makes me
capture it
think
next
like,
time.
well, color catcher, or like when the color, and that's, I know that that can happen when the color's really saturated. And so I guess I just, yeah, either need to put in a color catcher. I need to watch things more closely when they're blocking, because I did leave it in the water overnight, which shouldn't be a problem, but may be why, like, because it was in the water for so long, it just like more chance for the dye to come out and then reattach.
Oh no, yeah, it was that. You had that, you had cast it off when we were there. And it's funny because like I saw it in the morning in the bathtub and I was like, I wonder if it should be left that long.
Oh, it's fine. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it. Some things you kind of need to like almost leave, because I didn't put it in water until quite late. But if I had like checked on it, you know what I mean? Maybe I would have seen that there was color in the water and could have pulled it out faster. I don't know if that would have made a big difference, because I mean, the colors are touching in the thing.
Yeah,
So
once the like releases them. Or the other thing would be like what Kristen of Yarn, sorry, what Kristen of Yarngasm said. If it's a really saturated color, when you get it in the mail, you could always give it a bath before you ever knit it up.
well, that's what I said, is like, especially because it was a sock blank, I feel like the color, because, you know, she also kind of said like it's the disturbing of the fibers and moving them around in different positions that like gets the little bits of trapped dye to be more exposed. And because this was a sock blank, it's like it was pre-knit into a blank, then I disturbed it by unknitting the blank and then re-knitting it into like the stitches being in different positions. So it's like maybe it would have helped to what do you call it? Like skein it, basically, to like put it onto the Swift, skein it, give it like a good bath with soap and everything, you know, give it a good wash like that, dry it, and then cake it and then knit it. But I'm like, that feels like a lot of work.
That's my feeling
Like,
too.
that's why I kind of like buying sock blanks, because I'm like, I don't have to wind it. It's like just ready to go. But it's just like, if I'm gonna, especially if you're gonna knit it with something that you want it to have contrast against, that's where, like, if you're worried that it's going to bleed onto something, you either have to accept that that could happen or put in the extra work. And it was funny because I was looking at something like a while back where someone had knit like colorwork mittens with I think it was like a Knit Picks yarn, where like there was supposed to be like very high contrast of like a white and like a darker color, and then it bled, and I would be like, ugh, that would make me really upset. But that's like a time where that high contrast is really important. So pre-wash your yarn. Anyways, such is life.
That just reminded me, I haven't, because you said Knit Picks, I haven't blocked my Wonder Woman shawl yet.
Oh, yeah.
And I was sort of thinking about the red. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho. Anything else? Oh yeah, I have something. It's FO'd in the sense that's off the needles, although obviously.
Oh, is that one? I can't remember that you've tried to knit.
Yeah. Erica. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. I wish that designers would put like the pronunciation under, you know, like whatever you do, like with the dots and stuff.
Yeah.
To show how they say it. Although I'm not super thrilled with the drape, I guess you would say, or the structure yet, because I used it's a bulky weight that the pattern calls for, and this is by Jane Richmond. I don't know if I said that yet, but I used a worsted and a DK held together. Mm-hmm. And with the pattern it calls for like 6.5 millimeter needles, I dropped down to 5 millimeter. Okay. To try and get the gauge. The gauge was still off. It was still I think I was still, yeah, obviously looser gauge than what the pattern was. Crazy. Yeah. It was like, and but I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go for it. Anyway, so I just love the look of hers being like this when she wears hers. It's kind of like this. It's like, looks like it's sort of drapey, but it's like really structured around her neck. And mine is not. So not sure what I'll do yet. I might frog back a little bit and just take some of this length off, because I'm hoping if I had this up shorter, it might lie a bit more the way I like it. That's a possibility.
You blocked it yet?
I blocked it, yeah. Got it to this part anyway, to the measurements that she said.
Yeah.
And then you don't really stretch out this back panel.
Yeah.
it just seems longer than hers, but I did it to this like shorter. I knit shorter than what she suggested. She said like 15 and a half inches or something, and I did a bit less than that. It's just like once the water touched it, I guess it grew a bit more. And I think I might throw it in the dryer to get this chunk up a bit more and then reblock this part, perhaps. I don't know. I'm kind of sitting with it to decide what I'm going to do. I don't know. I'm actually kind of thinking now the best bet would be just to like frog back a ton of this back piece. I don't know. We'll see. Let you know next week what I decide. Yeah, I think I might just do that. It's cute. I do like it. It's funny though, now that I'm done, I'm like, why was I so gaga over it? Like just looking at her on, like in it, I think it's like her standing there like all straight with this thing on. I don't know, and the fringe all around her. So funny. Anyhow.
Okay, so this is my Swanky Chic wrap. I'm on my last repeat. I feel like this is taking me way too long. A little bit my own fault because I do get distracted, but mostly because honestly, it's only been the last 2 repeats that I finally feel like, okay, maybe I'm up to my normal knitting speed. I'm like, are you kidding me? And it is this long so far. This
Thankfully,
is like,
you know what? Be grateful that you are up to your knitting speed. Otherwise, it's always the last part that it's like, for me anyway, so hard. That never ends. Yeah. That's always that last part that's so hard to get done. So at least you've got the knitting speed to get you to the finish line, right?
Well, now I'm like, oh, I can get this done today. Like, I knit because there was like several days in a row where I was like, I just need to knit 1 chunk per day. Just do that 1 chunk, get it done. Like, don't think about how many more repeats you have to do. Just knit a chunk. Then you can put it down and do something else. Like, so it would just be like, knit 1 chunk of lace, knit 1 chunk of mohair, knit 1 chunk of stripe, like just 1 chunk a day. And most of the time I would do a little more. Like I'd knit that chunk and then maybe half into the next. So then the next day I'd just be like, you know, with the kids eating breakfast, finish that chunk that you started, finish that mohair. It's just a few rows of like basically garter. And then like, you know, later on be like, okay, this evening, just got to knit a chunk. Then you can put it down and do something else. And now I'm just like powering through the last 2 repeats. I'm like, ugh. Like trying not to be annoyed. And I like, it's a good lesson in terms of not underestimating patterns, not overestimating how much time I actually have to commit to things. Cause sometimes it's like I overcommit, not because I'm trying to be an overachiever, but just because I really just want to do all the things. And I'm optimistic sometimes about my abilities, which is not necessarily a bad thing until you overcommit. And yeah, and not to like make assumptions about like how fast or slow I can do something, you know, like get into it. And then like, so it's like in my head, I'm like, oh, I can knit a wrap that big in X amount of time and then it won't be a big deal. But it's like in reality, like you have to actually like, look at the pattern and look at the stitches and start knitting it and try things before you can really say how long something will take you. You know what I mean? Anyways, it's always like a bit, it's nice to have those like humbling experiences. Like same with that lace shawl. It's like, no matter how much sometimes I think like, oh, I'm a very experienced knitter, or I'm a very speedy knitter, or I'm very skilled. It's like, there's always going to be something that will stump you, either just because of like life or that particular pattern or something you haven't done in a long time. So it's like, just relax. It'll be okay. There was like a week where I was trying to push it and knit faster than I could. And I actually was like having really bad, I was starting to actually get like nervous. I was like, maybe I'm having like actual arthritis. Cause I had one hand that was like pained, like actually pained. And the other hand that was like numb / tingly. And I was like, oh dear Lord. Like I was like, this is it. It's the end. I'm gonna have to figure out how to knit with my feet or I'm just gonna die. Like I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And then I was like, calm down, like stop panicking. Like just, and so I had to like, this is kind of how I ended up busting out this little sewing kit that I've been playing around with. Cause I was like, I just need to give my arms and my hands a break. You're holding on too tight and you're trying to power through and like, you're just hurting yourself. So I'm like, give it a break. Don't knit, even though you really want to. It's okay. Put it down. Talk myself down off the ledge. Anyways, so it's so fun and it goes on forever. And once it's blocked, it'll be even a bit longer. So yeah, so this is the last white the last, no, not the last mohair, one of the last mohairs, one purple stripe done. So I'm like, maybe not today, probably by tomorrow. And then I have 10 million ends to weave in because I was like, I'm not going to stop and weave in ends right now because that's stupid. It was funny because when I first started it and realized I had to keep breaking the yarn, I was like, I should pause every like 2 weeks and weave in ends. And then I realized how slow I was knitting it, and I was like, I don't have time to stop and weave in ends. I just got to finish knitting it. Now I'm like, I'll never be done weaving in ends now. That'll be the new problem that I have.
You have to schedule me soon to come for pictures and actually for you to take care of my hair too. And then you will actually get the ends woven in.
Sure.
I feel like, what?
I said, it's true.
Oh, I thought you said jerk. I was like, what?
No, it's true.
I didn't make you knit this.
Sometimes like when we're like, oh, let's take pictures of this thing, it's like, oh, I can just tuck in the ends. But I'm like, you can't hide the ends on this. Like there's no way to wear this that you won't be able to see them. So I will definitely have to get them done. Anyways, what are you working on?
My project that will never end. I am very close to the end of it too, but I feel like that now with this bad boy. The diamond back. Oh gosh, I just feel like this won't end ever. I'm so excited about doing the diamond, and it's like since I started the gray that I'm bored because there's no change of color. Now I'm just like, it's what?
Said it is a lot of gray on yours.
A lot of gray, yeah. Anyhow, yeah, so to want another test knit for Temu, because all I do is Temu's patterns most of the time. And so all I have to do, I just have
the last rectangle.
Yeah, the last rectangle. And as long as, like, I could have done it, but I did the second half of this rectangle wrong. So I had to go back to here last night, but I did actually get, obviously, I spoke to Temu and it was like, what happened? She fixed it, helped me fix it over the phone. So then I knit half this rectangle plus all this last night. As far as it looks, I could have this cast off tonight. Well, I guess it depends. It just depends on the day with my kids and like what kind of moods they're in and what they're into.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else have you got?
Hold on.
Or do you want me to go again?
You can go again if you want. Sorry, I'm just trying to count too.
What else have I got? I don't even know. Oh yeah, another test knit of Temu's. Hold on, let me put this back on. So, have you shown the wisdom top?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wore one.
Yeah.
Several podcasts ago. What?
Then you wore the prototype one.
Yes, I wore the prototype. It was green and lovely, and I haven't worn it since. I'm not sure why. Anyways, this is Temu's first raglan pattern, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've got, just finished the sleeves, and I'm working on the rest of the body now. So, do you want to share like what the design feature of it is, or wait till it's done?
I don't know. Didn't we talk? I feel like we talked about it before, but no, it doesn't really matter.
Let's wait till it's done. This is how much I have so far. And the yarns I'm using, I only know the one. This one is Rachel Mack. It came in a pack of 2. I don't know why. From a Fiber Share Buddy or something.
Yeah.
It came with like a purple yarn as well that I was originally going to use for Electrium by Lisa Much, but then didn't love them together because of the high twist. And actually, yeah, I'm liking this high twist for this pattern. It's upside down. I think it looks really good. Just because it's like just gray, so like the high twist like gives it's not a whole lot of like, the colors aren't visually all that appealing for me, but it's like the twist of the yarn makes it more textured and a bit more interesting for my eye to look at all this gray.
Yeah.
And of course, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me. Like there's other things I've worked on, like I have a little bit more progress on the Adventures in the Wrong Side of the Grape. I can't remember where I was 2 weeks ago, but I think I was in the purple. So I just work on it a little bit here and there, but otherwise I'm trying to like I could power through this because I enjoy the pattern and I enjoy the yarns, but I'm like, no, I've got to get some of these like test knits for you finished and leave that as my reward at the end, my mindless knit reward. And then a little bit more of my Wonder Woman sock. I've much more since last time I showed that either.
Is that still the first sock, or is that the second?
Yeah, that's still the first sock.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if it was both of them at this point. That would be nice, wouldn't it? No. Nope. And then otherwise just yarns for future knits if you show projects that you have, like your new designs. I could show the yarns that I will use for those projects.
Oh, sure.
So you go ahead. That's why I powered through those two little projects.
Yeah. Well, I have one other thing. I don't think I showed it last time. I don't recall anyways. I haven't been working on it for a while, but I thought I would show it just because we're in this phase of it.
Mm-hmm.
So my, it doesn't officially have a name, but the colorway is called Campfire, I think. I can find a tag. Oh, the tag's on the other ball. I think it's called Campfire by Mustache Yarns, leg warmer sock thing that I'm making. So I don't know what you actually call it. It's kind of like a broken rib, but not. I call it like a zipper rib, where it's like 2 knits and a purl, or sorry, 3 knits and a purl, but you kind of alternate the purls. So it looks like a zipper kind of going up. So it'd be like knit 1, 2, 3, purl 1, knit 1, 2, 3, purl 1, and then on the next one you would like purl and then knit 1, 2, 3. So the pearls kind of look like a zipper the way they like stack up in the middle. I don't know what the actual name for this is. I'm sure there is one, but I would call it a zipper rib. Just to make my life difficult. It was fun to knit down here, and then when I had to do the split and trying to join back in, I was trying to knit in the car on the way back from camping while being tired, and I was struggling hard. It was really bad. I was like, why can't I figure out, after casting on the exact same number of stitches I cast off, how to rejoin in the pattern? Like, I got so messed up. It was really bad. It was quite ridiculous anyways. And then the leg is just stockinette with a few increases to fit over my calf. And yeah, I have it on my 4mm 9-inch circulars, which are kind of fun. I busted them out partially because I was like, this would be a good project to use them on because it's sport weight. So 4mm is kind of nice to make it not super tight fabric. But also I took them with me when we went to see Incredibles 2. So I was like, okay, I just got to get up to the point where I'm ready to just do the stockinette. So I did the stockinette and did increases in the dark, which was an interesting experience. And then I have a couple of markers on here just to mark those increases because I was knitting in the dark, so I couldn't really take notes. So my camping themed stitch markers from Riv Creative. I got my little flashlight, which was fine. The light gleamed off the end of it. It actually kind of looked like it lit up.
Yeah, cool.
So there's like a little flashlight and a little sleeping bag.
Oh, is that what that one is? Okay.
It's hard to tell.
Oh, I can kind of see the fold down now. Okay.
Oh, it's because I'm on the back, doy. That's better.
Yeah, that is better. Oh, okay, cute.
Yeah. So she sells them individually, but also she had them as a set. I think there's like 5 altogether. There's these 2, a little sign that says camp. There might have been a little tent and something else that I can't remember. Oh, a little campfire. I don't know where they are. I used them on other things as well, so I'm sure they're on a project somewhere. Anyways, so there's that. And then new design, because this other wrap is like a kind of complicated knit. And I had this idea in my head of like how to use up some scraps and some minis, because I just really love scrappy projects. I love mini projects, but sometimes it's like, how do you tie them all together and make it not look insane? Although I really love the insanity of Adventures on the Wrong Side. Like, I love that it looks insane because it makes it more fun to knit and be unpredictable, like kind of what the finished project is going to be. But I was like, okay, I need like that, but like a toned down version, and I wanted no pattern. I just wanted to like knit with not a lot of thinking. And so that's what this is satisfying for me. So yeah, I don't know. There's not like a ton to say about it. I have
it's so good though. It's so like varied, but so toned down, like you said.
So I did pick like more toned down minis from my stash and scraps. I do have like a lot of bright stuff, but I think I'm going to save it to mix with something. Oh my gosh, I can't even hold these all because there's so many. Oh my gosh, they're falling. Well, they are like more toned down. They're not crazy bright necessarily, but pop it off against the navy. This one's like a little more yellow. They were all kind of colors that I was like, I don't really know how I would use those in another project because they aren't really colors I gravitate towards. I think some of them, a couple of them were minis that I actually bought. So like this like rosy color and this color, I think this is called Rose Quartz or something like that. And I can't remember what this one's called. They were from Atomic Fiber Co. But like this and this were both just like little inserts that I got from Kathleen. Some of them were from like Kate Celine. Yeah, they're just like little extras she put in my package. This was a mini that I actually bought because it's kind of neutral. It's like white and gray with like a little bit of orange, a little bit of purple, a little bit of green. So it's like okay, but again, it's just sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I want to put that with. This one's another little insert from Kate Celine that I think as a full skein, it would actually be kind of interesting because the way the colors kind of like make a chunk of color and then the rest is just like this pale blue. Anyways, so yeah, so I'm just kind of, you can see I'm keeping all of the color change on one side. It's a little bit hard to tell because I kind of put some like colors together, but I did like 3 repeats with one color and then switch 3 repeats, 3 repeats, 3 repeats, 3 repeats. And then here I had a few ones that were like very, I mean, now that's what's left, but because the rows were getting longer and it wasn't even a mini, it was almost like a little sample blob that someone put into a package. I didn't have enough to do 3 repeats, so I only did 2. So I did like 2, 2, and 2, and then I went back to doing 3s again. So we'll see as the rows get longer. At some point I'm probably gonna have to switch to like 1 row with 1 color, run row with one color, run row with another color. Scooby-Doo.
Oh, Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I was thinking Scooby-Doo. Run row color.
I think it was Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I don't know why that made me think of like painting with Bob Ross. Painting with Bob Ross and knitting with Scooby-Doo. Anyways, so yeah. And then the background color. So I have like all these together in this bag. Right now it's getting a little stuffed, but I'll show you where I'm going to transfer it in a second. So this was just a yarn that I bought from a D-Stash ages ago. It's like a tonal, really, I mean, this is making it a little bit brighter than it is in real life, but it's quite a dark navy, but the light spots are like a true navy. From, I think the brand is called Sanguine Griffin, and the colorway is called Zeus. Anyways, I did put this yarn on a project page that I started on Ravelry just to keep track because I have been having trouble sometimes with finding tags. They'll just disappear. It's like this one I shoved in the ball, but yeah, so I think I did put it up on Ravelry and then I just listed what some of the brands for the minis were because I was like, there's no point in trying to figure out all the colorways. It'd just be too much. Yeah, anyways, so yeah, I got all the color changes on one side. So that side will have a border that's like striped and then the other side will have a border that's all solid. And then, yeah, just a solid spine down the middle, top down, so you can make it any size you want. I think it'll grow quite a bit. I'm really loving this stitch pattern because it looks garter, but it's not quite garter. And no purling, a little bit of increases at the sides and down the center, but nothing crazy. Like a good like semi-vanilla knit that I just want to keep working. But like every time,
vanilla with a slight twist. Sorry.
Yeah, vanilla with sprinkles. Anyways, yeah, and I just want to keep going. Like I wish I had more. I'm like I gotta find more scraps and more minis that go with these colors so I can just keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
There might be some, you know what, that might be, I don't know if you want to, but that might be a good place for the this yellow one to go. I don't know if you want to do that, but where is it?
Yeah, for sure it would, because I have one that has some yellow in it.
Yeah.
And it's like more of the yellow showing here than it is when I brought it back again here, but that would actually be a good one.
Yeah,
because
and then there's some other ones that
awkward colors. When you have those like awkward colors, or those colors that you don't know what to pair with, this just like tones them way down. You can see that there's color there, and when you look up close, you can see what the colors in some of the stripes are, but it's just not, yeah.
You want these?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll see some of them, like if the pops are too bright. Some of them have some bright pops, but I just don't want too many bright pops that really like pull your eye down to a certain spot. Like I kind of like how this is like, it's muting out all the colors. Actually, this one colorway that was just like a little chunk from somebody has some neon in it, but the neon just happened to land on the back, so you can't see it in front. Oh, and then I got my little.
This one I feel like would work for sure, but this one is mostly pretty bright. I don't know.
Yeah. And we'll see, right? Like you can always stripe it in for a couple rows and see, and then if it's like really bad, take it out, or only make it one little repeat, one little stripe, you know? Because that's the fun thing is like, so it's not really going to have like specific instructions on how many, like it's like, here's how to do the repeats, here's where to change your colors. And then you figure it out from there, because it's going to be totally based on how big your minis are, how big your scraps are. You know, like you could do it where you change every single repeat. You're just going to have a lot more tails on one side if you want to have like maybe a fringe at the top of your shawl for some reason. But yeah, it's not going to have a very specific formula in terms of how to do the repeats or how to do this striping. It's going to be totally up to you. I'll tell you what I did. Again, like I said, I did like 3 repeats, 3 repeats, 3, then changed 2, 2, 2, then I'm going back to 3, and I'll probably have to end with like 1 stripe or 1 repeat of some of the colors just to get as much length, because I want to use this whole ball and I want to have it striped the whole way pretty well. I might do a little bit of a border of navy just to kind of ground it, but we'll see. Depends too what I want to do for bind off, because I'm not quite sure yet. Okay, you show your yarn, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to transfer this project into in a second.
Yeah, as of right now, I don't know what happened to this crystal too. It's like, please skein me or cake me up. The skein is like coming apart.
Because the cashmere, right? Or is that a cashmere one?
Yeah, this is cashmere.
Yeah, I feel like cashmere, unless it's a really tight skein, I always feel like it starts to, like, it's so soft, it like starts to fall apart.
It's just so funny because like I've like, I was gonna say a bad word, but I like touch it a lot. Like I feel it a lot because I it's so soft and it's like right. You know what I was gonna say, right?
Word, and then I was like, oh, I know what.
It starts an M, rhymes with polyester.
I thought you were gonna say like molester. I was like expecting you to just like do that. Rhymes with polyester.
Now people are like, what is the word she was gonna, you know what I'm saying, right?
I know what you're trying to say. Oh my goodness. You're gonna polyester that stain.
I'm not gonna explain it any more than that. Anyhow, these are the two.
Okay, I'm good.
Compose yourself now. Oh man. Okay, so these are my 2 colors. So this is Tana's Fiber Arts. You can see the label, her purple label. And it's the crystal colorway. Oh, the color will not show up. It's very pink. It's very like pale pink, and it's got like tons of fun speckles like neon purple, blue, neon pink, neon yellow, and some places where the colors have like mixed together. I guess the blue and yellow mixed together makes like a interesting green. Mm-hmm. And I got it to do like a 1 skein project, but when it actually came, I was like, it would look great on Ada, my 7-year-old. Like it's that kind of a pinky funness, but I'm like, I'm 33. I can't get away with like a tank top like this, you know?
It's just so pale and pretty and precious that it's like almost babyish. Like it's like you either have to like what you're gonna do with it, or it would have to be like something so, like I feel like the only other thing it could kind of be would be like a very lacy big shawl that you would like wear to a wedding or something, you know?
even that, I'm like, it'd have to be like the right couple and the right wedding, because like
Yeah.
then the neons are like a bit too neon for a wedding, you know. Anyhow, and then so yeah, I was even debating on like de-stashing it for a little bit, because I was like, I just don't know if I love it so much, but I just don't know if I'm gonna knit it. So it should go to somebody that's actually gonna knit this. But
Yeah.
when this project of Temu's came up, actually, I guess I initially wanted it for, I saw the Amba pattern and I was like, oh, this would go great with something for the Amba pattern. But yeah, for the most part, I need to leave my yarns for Temu's test knits. And now she's got this pattern, which would be wonderful to go with this. And she gave me, I guess I bought it off you, this yarn from Vicki Brown, this beautiful blue.
It's not blue.
I know. That's why I
Especially on camera right now too. It almost like, you could argue, put in a vote. Is it dark gray or is it navy blue? Because on the camera right now, it's like, it could kind of go either way.
That's what I mean, is like when you look at it, even in my light, it's not just the camera, but even in my, well, what beside yours, put yours to the other side. You can tell it's gray with like blue undertones. But yeah, in the right light, in a really bright sunlight, it looks gray.
Yeah.
In the lighting of this room and on camera, it looks like a gray navy.
Yeah.
So anyhow, either way, it pairs really well.
Beautiful with that.
This.
Yeah. Plus, it has that one has sparkle in it, right?
And it has stellina.
It's gold.
Usually gold, but like it's like a dark silver. You know, like it doesn't look. When you said gold, I thought it was going to look like yellow gold, like a deep yellow gold, but it's like a light yellow gold. So and with the silver, with the gray, it really pulls out more of like the silveriness in it. It doesn't really look gold.
I just think like the stellina plus like the delicate and prettiness of the other yarn, and then adding the cashmere, like that little bit of like halo, it's going to be like so pretty. Like compared to this one, I feel like this is like, it's kind of like funky basic, but like that's going to be like such a pretty version. Like, I just think it's really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm excited to cast it on, except for the fact that I'm like, I will not yet because I have too much on it. And I know I
came this close. I haven't even finished the first one. I came this close to casting out another one because I was like, well, now I want one that's just two colors. And I've had these two yarns paired together for like a really long time in a bag that I kind of knew what I wanted to do with them. And then I was like, well, maybe that's not. So one skein is just like a DK kind of slightly tonal medium gray, and I can't remember who it's from. And the other one is my smidge skein from Kate Celine. So it's like really yellow with like some really like turquoisey bright blue and some like bright pink and a little bit of black speckles. It's like such a cute skein, but they're both DK weight. And I was going to use them. Yeah, it's hard to see.
I know, it's really hard to see.
So
I'm like, this will go well with like the fact that it's such a like delicate, pretty knit, and then it all on it.
Yeah, so I had these two skeins put away because I wanted to knit, I think it's called the Truss Shawl by Tanis Fiber Arts. It's like a sideways knit, and then you cut the edging to make the fringe. And it has a cable going along the bottom edge, like above the fringe. And I was like, oh, this would be really fun. I just don't know if the striping together of such high contrast colors is really the best for that project. But then I was like, oh, this would be great for this shawl. I'm like, I could knit another one with solid colors, but in a DK weight, just to see like what it would look like with a heavy weight. Because I love DK's like really my jam. Yeah.
Keep chatting. I was gonna open the door. I can hear Rue crying.
Yeah. Yeah. DK's my preferred weight to work with, DK and sport. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll do it in this. So I honestly like pulled out the yarn and was like, no, don't do it. And then I like came back in my craft room because again, I look for things when I'm procrastinating other things. So I like moved the yarn to a different spot and was like, maybe I'll cake it up now. No, don't do it. Like, anyways, so once this one's done, I really want to cast on at least one more, but I think I actually planned for two more.
This will be the new Adventures in the Wrong Side. Like, I feel like with this one that I'm working on, is like I'm still loving it, but I feel like I'm done with the pattern. This is going to be the new Adventures on the Wrong Side. Well,
and what I like about this, like Adventures on the Wrong Side is fun. I really like that pattern, but I don't know that it's my favorite, say, traveling pattern. Like I wouldn't carry it around in my purse because I'd have to keep thinking about like what repeat, like where am I in the pattern? What am I working on? Like blah, blah. Whereas this I love because there's no pattern really to memorize. You can basically like, I can just look at it, tell from whatever color is on the needle or on my cord, I need to pick up the opposite one. You know, so it's like once you get the first couple, and the first couple repeats are so teeny to start that it's like you get the pattern really quick and then you just go for the rest of it. And especially if you weren't doing any color changes, it's not like you have to carry around all this yarn. I've been like carrying around double project bag in my purse with all this yarn jammed inside. But the solution has arrived because I've been eyeing this up for so long. Finally was like, I don't even care, I'm going to do it, even though I shouldn't, and I'm going to get in big trouble.
I know. If it wasn't for the price tag, and I totally value the price tag of that bag, but I can't do it. Oh, I love it. I hate you.
Okay, so for a while, I don't think I mentioned this to you before, but, or maybe I did, I don't know. For a little while, I've been like squirreling away a little bit of like money here and there into like a separate kind of account off of my account. Like it's not really like a separate savings account, but it's kind of like my Tangerine account has like, you can, whatever. You can set like goals for yourself if you're trying to save for something. So I had like this little like goal pocket that I've been like,
sorry.
The cat's about to go at it.
Well, thankfully Tigger's tired, but Rue is not. So, and they're both in the bed together. So we'll see. And just like how he jumped up like right by her butt, I was like, it's gonna happen.
Anyway, so I've been like putting away money because, so it started off because I really wanted a circular knitting machine, like a proper, like old, you know, like special cranky metal ones from the States. I really wanted one of those. I started squirreling away money for that. I think I've changed my goal to something that's one, more realistic, and two, that I think I will get more use out of. So I think what I'm actually going to get is a small weaving loom, because I think I'll be able to learn it a little quicker. I'll use up my stash, and I can combine my newfound joy for sewing with using up a lot more stash yarn. So I think that's my new goal. Anyways, so I had this little, so I was like, after eyeing these for so long, and I keep seeing the Cozy Up sisters with their bags, and I was like, okay, I just have to do it. Like, I require this in my life. And then she had posted a couple on her feed. I think one was red, but the internal fabrics were like really floral. And I was like, I use a lot of like bright colored yarns. So my initial thinking was I want the inside to be more neutral, because I find sometimes like a bright bag with a bright interior and bright yarns is like too, I can't look at it. It's too many things. Then after we started going back and forth about fabrics, I saw that she had this fabric. It's the Burly Beavers. Like, I love that so much.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, it really is. It just makes me so
She's got one bag, I think that hasn't sold still.
Yeah, with the Burly Beavers on the outside.
Yeah.
I was just worried I'd get it really dirty. I really like the canvas.
I know,
it's like really sturdy, and I'm like even more like, I saw the Cozy Up sisters explain the bags, and I knew I would really love it, but now having it in my hands, I'm even like more impressed with it than I was seeing their versions of it, or seeing the ones that they had. Because so the Burly Beavers is this long pocket that goes like all the way down, like, so it starts up here and it goes all the way down. So I'm like, pattern pocket, like I can put my whole pattern in there, because half the time my pattern's like jammed at the bottom and I can't reach it. Like, because this is the sock party size, so it's a little bit smaller than her.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah, so I got the sock party size only because like the other one was quite large, and I generally carry kind of a large purse anyways, so that I can fit my project bags in. But I thought this one might actually fit in my purse a little bit better.
Right.
Whereas the big one, I don't know if it would. And for considering this is supposed to be a sock party size, this is
it's not
like a shawl party size.
Yeah.
Like the other one's like sweater and then some party size. Must be. Anyway, so because it's the sock party size though, it has a DPN cozy built into it. So if you were actually knitting socks, you could.
But you could totally put notion. Oh, I guess it's snap. Never mind.
It's snap, but I still feel like there's I could put a pen in there for sure, and it would stay.
Right.
There are like slide pockets going around the whole outside edge, like all the way around, plus 2 stretchy pockets. It's really hard to show this, but hold on. Let's turn it all the way inside out. So plus 2 stretchy pockets, so I can put like bigger things in there. So for this project, I think my little minis are going to go in there. And then this thing snaps across to the other side. So if you had 2 cakes, you can separate them. But if you don't have 2 cakes, you don't have to use it. And I was like, I just thought it had permanent sections, which was fine by me. I don't mind that at all. But like, I love the fact that it's like convertible. So now it's like, it could be a sock party bag, but it could also just like shove this to the side and put whatever I want in the bottom. And now it's like, I can use it for so many different things.
All right, I'm going to keep my eyes for the sock party bags now. Because, yeah, the yarn party bag, well, how much is that one? 80?
Yeah, 80 or 85? 85, I think. Oh, and even the slide pocket around the outside is like double on this side. So there's like pen-sized slide spots on top of.
Get out of here.
It's crazy. Like, there's just so much. I love a bag with pockets. I love a bag with like organizational features that's like well thought out. Clearly she's a knitter, so she understands like what you want. It's got this like nice little handle and drawstring, which I like. Love it. So mine is, I mean, the camera's blowing it out like crazy, but red on the outside and then the coordinating fabrics of the burly beavers. So I got burly beavers, and then there's like the thermoses and the red buffalo check and the wood grain. It's just like super fun to look at.
That's wood grain. On quick glance, I thought it was zebra.
No, I think it's supposed to look kind of
now
like,
that you
I mean,
say
it's
that,
not like
yeah.
true wood grain, but
Yeah, no, now that
it
you
goes
say that.
with the other. I think they're all like part of a coordinating that came out at some point with fabrics, but I just love it. I think this is so cool. This was a solid investment. I'm quite happy with it. Anyways, so this project is going into this bag because I've been holding off. I've had it for a couple of days, but I've been like holding off putting the project in so I could show it without having to.
And where is she? In Edmonton?
Oh, yeah, Edmonton, Alberta.
She makes me want to even more.
Yeah.
With a Canadian label. Handmade in Canada.
Yeah.
And like well made in Canada. Oh. Yeah. I'm going to buy one at some point.
Yeah, love it. So go, I don't even think I said her name. So that's Andrea's Hand Spuns. On Instagram, she's Andrea Gel Dart. We'll put it on the thing down below. But yeah, and she was lovely to like coordinate with, because I said like, do you ever do custom orders? Because, you know, like you see something on someone's feed or whatever, and it's like, I like them, but I just know that that's not, like, you know, I'm like ready to purchase, but I know that those aren't the colorways that I want. So I'm like, I could wait and just see what else she comes out with. But I'm like, her taste might be different than mine, but she might have tons of fabric that I would love. So, you know, we went back and forth. She sent me lots of like pictures of the extra fabrics that she had. And, you know, it was really nice to like be able to really pick something that I want. But you can also just like go to her shop. She has a website. You can go to her shop and see what she has ready to ship and order from there, and probably, you know, have it be ready a little bit quicker because it'll just be shipped out when she does her shipping. But yeah, so go check her out. Very, very talented. Thank you very much, Andrea. I'm so excited. And she said she has watched the podcast. So
She said what?
she said she has watched the podcast.
Well, I know she has. Like, that's not why I really followed her, but she, when I started this Stormy Sky Shawl, or what was it called? I don't know if you're gonna remember. It's that blue one, that blue yarn. Yeah.
The blue one that we keep being like, what's that yarn? What are you talking about? Yeah.
It's what was the yarn?
Fleece Artist.
Fleece Artist, yeah. And it's that the pattern has like tassels, which is what I've wanted, and it has lots of double yarn overs and drop stitches and stuff like that. And for some reason I was like not really sure about it. Anyway, she was the one that messaged and like sent, I don't know if you even knew this, but sent like a picture of her finished one.
Oh, I think you did tell me that, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't remember now what was different about it, but I really liked her version. Like there was something, I can picture it. Pardon?
Did she make like a little change or something that she made?
It was like, I think her yarn might have been a bit more, not dense is the right word, slightly heavier weight. Hey, Mercedes.
Like where?
Slightly heavier weight, and so it was like little less airy, but something about it was like really, I really liked it anyhow.
Yeah.
I can like picture her wearing it, but I can't actually picture the shawl.
Yeah, I didn't realize. It's like I knew that you said somebody had messaged you, but I didn't realize it was her. Cool.
Yeah.
wonder if my little design book will fit in this pocket. Because that would make me really happy.
Oh, it's a book. Okay. Are you going to show your brioche one?
No, I haven't. It was like, what's going on?
Oh, now you're going to bite me, are you?
It'll fit in here, I guess.
I don't know if I've actually showed him, but this is the one that was one of the guys that was born in our garage.
I think you did.
Did I introduce him?
I think you had him guest star on the podcast 2 weeks ago. Maybe. I think so. Or I don't know if you cut it out, though.
I don't remember now. I always cut this guy out. Little Roo.
Is he purring?
Yeah. Can you hear that? Yes, I can tell you can because it's yellow around my picture. You're being loud. Oh, scratchy tongue. Yeah, your brioche one. Are you going to show it?
No, I haven't done anything with it. I don't know. Where was it at last time? I think it's in the same spot it was last time I showed it.
Okay.
Pretty well. I haven't done anything with it.
Okay. You got anything else to show them? Yarn acquisitions, I assume.
No, I don't think so. Somewhere, I don't know where.
I gotta go because this guy's getting extra playful. He's trying to attack.
You hear the loud purr of impending doom.
Well, yeah, he's starting to attack the microphone. What about this looks like fun? I have no idea.
It looks like a ball.
Well, it wasn't even the ball he was going for. It was the leg. It was the leg of it. Maybe he thought he could tip it to make it roll. I don't know what he was thinking.
All right.
Okay.
Check you later.
Yarn on, people.
Yarn on.
I feel like there was something else that we should be saying, but I can't.
See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.